This is Graham Beadle. He is the owner of the Grinning Demon comic book store in Maidstone, Kent. It is an independent store that sells everything from comic books to collectibles. Originally a chef by trade, Graham's life got turned around when he took a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is the tale of Graham Beadle.
This was originally a comic shop called Whatever Comics, and I used to come in each week and pick up my bits and pieces. And I came in one day, and the guy who was the proprietor of the shop, a guy called Manny, was sitting at the end of the shop. He was obviously having a bad day. Deliveries had been wrong, and all sorts of stuff had happened over the course of the day. And he was just having one of those days that if he had any hair left, he would have been pulling it out. And he walked in, and I can't say it exactly because I don't want to put expletives onto your recording, but said along the lines of, "Don't want to buy a in comic shop, do you?" Obviously I thought he was joking at first, but I was like, well, yeah, okay, I've got a bit of disposable income, and yeah, let's go for it. Cool. Obviously when we took over the shop, and it was called Whatever Comics, now Manny still had a store in Canterbury that went by that name, so we had to change the name of the shop, and we bounced a few ideas around, but at that time I was playing a card game called Magic the Gathering, and I'd gone along to a tournament where they had a release of new cards, and one of the guys who was there got one of the cards and went, "Bloody hell, this card looks like you, Graham," and that card was called the Grinning Demon. So the name sort of stuck for a while for me within the Magic community. So when we were thinking of names, obviously the Grinning Demon sort of came to mind. Changing and working in a comic shop was a bit of a dream. What I didn't realise was exactly how much of a difference from what I've been doing for the duration that would actually, what it would entail. So basically we took over with no idea as anything about running your own business, paperwork, anything involved, other than the fact that I had a good knowledge of the product we were selling. So from there, I suppose that's where the story begins. There's plenty of space for people to come in and chill out and shoot a breeze, which a lot of the regulars do. They'll come in even when they haven't got anything to buy specifically. They'll come in on socially to catch up with people and chat to other people, like-minded people. Which is why if we ever do get the situation where we're earning a bit more money, we'd like to go to bigger premises and have a coffee shop built in, so people can come in, pick up their comics, have a few card games, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or whatever, or play a bit of role playing, or just come down and chill out for a pastry and a cuppa. So that's kind of where we want to go in the future.
Purchasing the store was not just a job change for Graham, but a change in himself as well.
Now I suffer from Asperger's, and one of the things that I don't do is I don't have an empathy with most people's emotions, so general interaction and day-to-day life was always problematic for me, and my defence or my coping mechanism involved me sort of copying as a strategy. I worked in pubs, so I would emulate other people's behaviour, which when you work in a pub you don't probably encounter the nicest people in the world. I probably, because of the traits that I'd taken on board, I don't think I was a particularly nice person as such. Now the one thing about being in the shop is the fact that I can just be who I am, because so many of the people that come in the shop are like-minded or suffer from autistic spectrum disorders, or just will take me as I am, right, even if they're not, they don't have similarities to myself. It just makes life easier. So I'm more relaxed. I'm much happier when I go, when I come to work, when I leave work, which therefore translates to much happier in my home life.
Today is the day of the Hammerlock Wrestling event. It is something Graham attends often as a way of promoting his business and even earning some extra well-needed money.
We're backstage at the Hammerlock show at the moment. Now I've been coming to these shows for roughly since I was about 6 years of age, so that's quite a few years. And I sort of gave it a miss for a while, but obviously being in the comic shop, I was working there one day and the guys from Hammerlock came in with a show going on, asked me if I put up a poster, and that rekindled my interest. Came along to their show in Maidstone, and then since then I've been involved for about 3 years, doing artwork for the shows, for the guys at Hamlock. We've done a number of bits of art, and also for some of the other federations around the UK. And then from there, we finished up starting our own federation, which starts up in Maidstone in February.
I first met Graham whilst I was promoting the show. Graham has been a regular fan from the UK scene for quite a while. We did a show in Tunbridge. He started to do quite a bit of artwork for many of our wrestlers and that, which they used as promo pictures and that. We got chatting. It turns out he owned a comic shop, and me being a total comic geek, we got on quite well and had sort of a connection there. And from that we've sort of grown a bit of a bond, and sort of we help out each other.
Every so often, Graham runs his own events so he can try and earn some extra money. Today, he is running a tournament of the popular card game Yu-Gi-Oh!
We will be running 5 rounds of Swiss, because we've only got 10 people. We haven't got enough to run 6 rounds. At the end of 5 rounds, we'll cut to a top 4 and we will run a booster draft. This is a format that players of pretty much every other game will be familiar with. Players of Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably won't be so much. You know, we used to get 30 along to the tournaments a few years back, and I stopped doing them weekly because we were only getting 12, 14 people each week, and I'd rather have the time with my family. But there's, you know, we've still got 10 down. They seem to enjoy themselves. We've tried to throw something a little bit different in there for them. In your first packet, you take 1 card from that packet. You pass that remainder of the cards clockwise to the person sitting next to you. As I said, we used to get, I mean, you go back probably, I mean, Ben's been here the longest. He's been here since the very first week we ran them. So 7.5 years ago, and so we started off. We used to get about 8 or 9 people. At the highest, as I said, went up to sort of, I think we've had 38 was the most we ever had. So I actually won't make any money today. In fact, make about a £6 loss.
This isn't the first time Graham has made a loss. There have been a few other occasions where Graham has experienced quite big problems financially.
The problems we have is the fact that we have a really uncooperative local council, and you've got a white elephant outside in the form of the new high street development. This was going to bring, I can't remember the exact figures they said, it was going to bring an awful lot of customers, according to them, to this end of the town. What it's actually done is the complete opposite. It cost us over £12,000 worth of trade in 10 weeks while the actual building work was going on. At one stage we went 13 days without a customer whose name I didn't know. It actually halved our trade, and only people coming in were either regulars that will come in and browse and buy stuff, or people that had standing orders. I didn't have a single walk-in of anyone else for the space of, say, 13 days.
We caught up with Graham at a later date and asked Graham and his wife Jane whether they would ever consider making the huge decision that they made 7 years ago again.
Takes up so much time, that's the trouble, you know, because it's a 24-hour day job. You don't get any time to do anything else, you can't take holidays, and it's just all encompassing, so it is, you know, particularly this, you know, when it's quiet. If I knew then what I know now, we might not have taken it on, but we'll fight for it, it'll be fun.
Again, if I was offered the same decision, if I had the advanced knowledge that I have now, I've got to say I probably wouldn't. It's not fun scrabbling and scraping for money. I would, however, knowing what I know now, get out of the licence trade and find a job that was more to my suiting, that, you know, suited me better as a person, so I could be more myself. Because then obviously the changes there would still happen, but I would have a regular income and holiday pay and pension and all the things that you kind of need when you're a family man. However, just from the point of view of, you know, if I didn't have all the full knowledge about how things were going with the credit crunch that no one could really predict, yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I love this job.